of the New Patriotic Party. Some 10 days more for us to realize if indeed it is possible or it won't be possible. Saka, good morning.
Good morning, Blaise.
I hope you're fine.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Also, Hamza.
I like the way you mentioned the New Patriotic Party. The way you mentioned the patriotic.
Oh, okay. I see.
Some people just mention it anyhow.
I like the way you mention it. How did they mention it?
It's a new patriotic. No. It's new patriotic.
I see. No, but I'm a journalist. I'm a news person. So pronunciation of words and all of that.
The fishermen. You know.
A proud one for that matter. Right. How's that? Good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a while we met. I know you've been here. Yes. I think you were here last week.
I think so.
For the first time in a while. Yeah, and you're here with us this morning again.
Good morning to you and my colleague panelists, and of course to our cherished viewers out there.
Great.
And most importantly, to the good people of this country.
Yep.
And also Tamale North constituency, to be precise.
Right.
We're hoping for the best in this election. The time has come for us to reset. And almost everyone agrees, including some members of the New Patriotic. Is that right? Including some members of the New Patriotic Party. So I think that, but unfortunately they have battered the word patriotism. So I don't know why. That is the reason why he's emphasizing that you should mention it well, because he knows that in truth they have been unfair to that word. They have jettisoned it, and what seemed to be in operation is an agenda to enrich themselves, broad the robbery of the limited resources of this country with little regard to our laid down rules and regulations and to our ethics as a country. So, well, we are saying that the time has come for us to put a stop to that kind of governance. And of course, there's no better person to do that than one who has been there with measured experience and understands that when it comes to the governance of this country, all what matters is the welfare of the people. And there's no better person with that understanding than His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, of course with his able partner, Professor J. Nana Opokojima. And we are doing that under the umbrella. And the umbrella has always... the umbrella has demonstrated. Since that, the umbrella has demonstrated its commitment to the time has come for us to come once again under it and take advantage of the shade that it provides from the destructive tendencies of the New Patriotic Party. Right?
Right. Good morning, Mr. Niama Matthew. Rista has been globe-trotting for some time now. Finally, he's back in Ghana.
Yes,
and he's here with us.
A rich man.
Very big man. Global man. He's been globe-trotting like
when people who are in government are talking make reference to poor fishermen like that. I was not globetrotting. I only went for a meeting in Cyprus.
And then where else? From Cyprus, where?
No, I went for a meeting in Cyprus. The plane went through UK.
Okay.
I didn't.
The plane went through UK.
I was sitting in the plane.
But it's good to have you back on the show.
So I saw London, but I went to Cyprus.
I see. Right. Let's get straight into the conversation. Here at Pan-African Television, it's our utmost priority to start our conversations with an African story. We are obliged to do that, and so this morning we are getting into Chad. Chad complains of fighting terrorism alone. The story is on page 5, has been captured on page 5 of today's edition of the Daily Graphic newspaper. It says Chadian Defense Forces have intensified their operations to track down Boko Haram fighters. This follows a deadly attack in late October in which the terror group targeted a garrison in the Lake Chad basin, killing about 40 soldiers. In the aftermath, the president launched Operation Haskanite or Haskanite. I want to believe that's the correct pronunciation. Authorities said they had killed about 100 fighters. I can confirm that there are no more Boko Haram groups on Chadian soil. The governor of the Lake Province du Lac said Operation Haskanite has driven them out Moreover, we were able to finish them off. For instance, I can talk about our last confrontation, during which a prominent leader who was known among Boko Haram fighters, this leader was named Kanaye Jugon. This operation has borne fruits. Chad claims no Boko Haram fighter is based on its soil, and that they operate from neighboring Niger and Nigeria. The Lake Chad Basin would be their supply area. The region has remained a flashpoint for militant attacks, with insurgent activity spilling over from Boko Haram's origin in northeastern Nigeria since 2009. Chad's Minister of Communication said his country had been left alone in this fight. Why is Chad alone on the battleground? Bukar Michel said, why haven't these refugees, internally displaced people, received any help from the international community? Why haven't they been taken care of by humanitarians? Nobody can accept to be the only one suffering losses when attacks occur, or to be the only one having their defense forces laid to rest. So this is the story as captured in page 5 of today's edition of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Happenings in Chad, for that matter, insurgents and jihadists, and the scourge they leave in their wake on the people. But they are not happy about the fact that it appears that it is a solitary fight. They are alone in this fight, and then they are not receiving help from any other groups, any other countries, or any other organization. But they have said also that their territories is Boko Haram free, and so people can move about their duties, like they should. And that's welcoming news, by the way. But that accusation about others not also helping in the fight, I think for me is worrying. But let me take Hamza's initial thoughts on this latest development.
I think, first of all, it is becoming boring having to discuss on a daily basis issues of insecurity, especially within the African continent, and knowing that our regional bodies are doing little in terms of their responsibilities towards this group of people. Most especially for me, it has to do with the civilians who bear the brunt of these unfortunate political tensions or issues of, if you like, rebel activities. And it is not surprising. Somewhere in November, the same regime in Chad accused the Sudanese government of meddling in its internal politics, whereas the Sudanese government also claimed that Chad was engaged in supporting one of its rebel forces within the region, within the country. So you would realize that what is playing out there is more of regional politics, of conflict of interest between two countries, or to a very large extent 3 countries, than what we've been used to over the years. And that is the reason why you would need an outside arbitrator or arbiter, if you ask me. Because we have reached a stage where we are not dealing with internal security of Chad, we are dealing with that regional setup. Because there's that kind of animosity between Chad and Sudan, and to a very large extent within other neighboring countries within that enclave. So for me, we should consider Chad's outburst as an invitation to engage all the regional blocs within that sector and see how, for once, the African Union can demonstrate true meaning to its founding principles as far as peace and stability within the continent is concerned. But until that is done, like I indicated, we would have to come back here in the next week or 2 discussing issues related to insecurity within that sector of our continent. So it boils down to leadership. It boils down to leadership. It is a clear manifestation that the union has failed, and there's a need for us to take a look at the leadership. Maybe the time has come for us to get leaders in place who are more responsive to the needs of the African people than simply wearing the titles and globetrotting under the guise of championing African cause. But there's so much that needs to be done. We don't even need to engage strongly with our European counterparts now. All what we are tasked to do as African leaders is to make sure that we ensure stability amongst our ranks. And that one too is becoming clearly difficult for us to do. So, Blaise, you see, it is frustrating having to talk about Africa almost all the time. And we are not discussing just economic progress. We are discussing stagnation. We are discussing inertia in terms of progress. And so it is worrying. And for me, the absence of a united government can largely be attributed to some of these lapses that we have in the system, because no one really takes responsibility. Everybody believes that when you are voted within your own setup or your country, your foremost responsibility is to the good people of your country. So a president is elected in Nigeria, as far as he's concerned, he's been charged to uphold the fundamental principles of the Nigerian constitution. That is his responsibility. So they may come together to form a political union called the African Union, but in truth, none of them is truly committed to it, because it doesn't give them votes. And you know, the African politician, all what they are concerned about has to do with votes. Just a little of them seem to be concerned about legacy. And that is where we are. If there's the need for us to really confront some of these issues and resolve it, then I think that the discussion should center around a union government for the rest of Africa. When we do so, and we elect a president who would represent the African continent, be rest assured that his responsibility would have gone beyond the borders of Ghana or Nigeria or Cote d'Ivoire. That president's responsibility would have been to the entire African continent. And issues of this nature would have gotten the needed attention that it truly deserves, and would have succeeded in blurring the needless borders that has been created, or what the people call it, a relic of colonialism amongst brothers and sisters in Africa. So the discussion should be about how we can come together collectively. We attempted the ECOWAS with the economic union. That is why we formed ECOWAS. We are not yet there, but nothing stops us from putting in place the political institutions that must propel us to form eventually an African government, even if it is going to be in name, in principle. And we can have the various presidents act as governors of the respective states as they are presently constituted. That is the way to go from where I sit. But for this, it is just the responsibility of the Chad regime. Nobody accepts that responsibility in principle. But when they are faced with the cameras, they will give you all the kinds of motivation you expect. They will tell you that they are doing all in their power to help the Chad government. But in truth, immediately you take the cameras off them, they go back to their respective responsibilities towards their various communities. And that is where we are. I feel sorry for the good people of Chad, especially the citizens, because like I indicated, they bear the brunt. But unfortunately, there's little we can do if you look at the current political structure of the African continent.
Thank you very much, Hamza Suhini. Saka.
Okay. It took me by surprise anyway. Good morning to our cherished viewers. Good morning to my flag bearer and the incoming president of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I think that now it is becoming so clearer by the day, as the day approach, that Ghanaians have fallen in love with Dr. Bawumia and would therefore give him that mandate. I think that Ghana deserves better. Ghana deserves a brand new leader who is unblemished, who has no record of corruption, unlike some others, who has a wherewithal, what it takes economically to take us out of this doldrum that we find ourselves, due mainly to the devastating effect of COVID-19. That your mama himself went to Harvard to high-trot that COVID-19 has devastated the whole world, and Africa is bearing the biggest of the brunt, and that it will take years before we come clean. But the same person, when he got to Koku International Airport, he said, hey, Nanado,
he brought hardship and all those things. So we need somebody with the knowledge in economics to take us through. So good morning to him and the wife, you know. I mean, the problem of Chad is something that we all know. I mean, if you look at that region, I just don't know why terrorism is so thriving there. And it's as a result of the fact that they have not been able to have a stronghold on it. I mean, to nip it in the bud. And as a country, and as a single country, I mean, there's no way you can fight terrorism. No country can fight terrorism alone. You remember in 2001, yeah? After the Al Qaeda bombing, and the US decided to fight terrorism. George Bush said that the fighting terrorism is a global matter, and that every nation should join hands to ensure that we fight the canker. And he also went ahead to say that you are either with them, that is the terrorists, or you are with us, and that nobody can sit, you know, in the middle. So, I mean, if there are people like Nigeria and other countries that are sitting in the middle and are refusing to help the fight against terrorism, leading to Chad, you know, even complaining, it means that we have reneged on our duties as you know, countries that are surrounded, you know, within the Chadian area. And that is the reason why, see, if these people, most of the time when I come here and then there's this topic about Boko Haram and other, I said it, that, I mean, if you look at the size, the might of Nigeria, and if terrorism, I mean, like terror group like Boko Haram can cause havoc to them, and then we look in askance, we just look like, oh, it is not us. Tomorrow, after defeating Nigeria or whichever other country, they will come to you, because even the mighty itself has been conquered. So you will not even have any moral rights. You can't even fight them. After all, even your big brother himself has been defeated. So that's the reason why, you see, the fight against terrorism and the way the globe is now. You understand? When Richester was trotting around the globe, and you heard when he said that they saw London and all those places. So just within 2 or so few days, the world is now a global village. What happened elsewhere, you know, has effect on the other, and then you can globetrot the whole world within some few days. Remember, I mean, COVID-19. It was like Donald Trump said, it's a Chinese disease, Chinese virus. That within some few days, it has devastated the whole world. And now we are still, you know, having the effect globally and even economically. So if we allow Chad to fight this canker alone, the effect will be there. And it will even be, the consequence will even be more devastating than even the regions that surround them. Like, let's take like Russia war, for instance. I heard some people, I mean, I don't know how they think, who said that, oh, even Ukraine itself, who was even fighting the war cry, they are recovering and all those things. Look, they can recover. But you see, when you talk about neighbors, I mean, I don't want to jump into some other areas. But you see, when you talk about people who benefit, for instance, you can have Blaise sitting here. You can have somebody who you are mentoring without you knowing. The person is not even near you. He's far away. And what happened to you will have effects on that person even more than somebody in your house. You understand? You understand what I mean? I'm sure there are people who are watching you every day. One of them can take you as his mentor. And the emotional attachment that the person can have, or you can have on the person, you can't even imagine it. And therefore, if you say that, because Russia and Ukraine, because we were relying on them for wheat and all those things. So, for them, whether the war ends or not, the wheat is still with them. So they will not feel the brand like somebody who is far away but was relying heavily on them. The same way, I mean, if you bring it to this terrorism, if you say that, Chad is far away, I mean, by the way, Chad is not even far away from Ghana. I'm sure Nigeria is sharing border with Chad. And then we and Nigeria...
Chad is Central Africa.
Yes, but Nigeria is sharing border with them. I'm sure. I'm not 100%. And then Cameroon and, So, I think that terrorism should not be a thing that should be treated with kid gloves, that we should romance. It is every country's duty to ensure that this is, I mean, they move from just land to the sea. I mean, if you go to those who hijack vessels, they're all of them pirates. All of them are terrorists. All of this is terrorism. So they can move from the forest, they can move from anywhere. Their modus operandi is everywhere. What they need is that, I mean, they want to destabilize a region or a country in order for them to get what they want, either to overthrow the government, either to inflict pain on the people, either for religious reasons, or for some other inordinate desire. And for me, I think that it is about time we uphold the unity that we as a sub-region, and I don't know the region that Chad, maybe Central Africa, something that they belong. We can even go, I mean, as ECOWAS, to even help them. Some of these terrorists, they might not even be staying, or their training camp might not even be within the same region. They might have come somewhere and then launch their attack, on them. And therefore, we should not even give them room to even brief or to even settle in any other region. And I believe that if you do that, I mean, Bush did that, and today the adverse effect or the impact of terrorism across the globe, even though not completely eliminated, I think that it has drastically reduced. And then we as a continent should also emulate him.
Right, thank you, Sakasalia. Let me finally come to Rista Niyamama. If you Rista.
The trotter.
I don't know why he's just deciding to use stray bullets everywhere.
We have that.
So, why you stray bullets everywhere? You started talking about COVID-19, and you see, if indeed I travel a lot, it means that I use the airport very often, and coming to my country and paying $50 to a Nigerian in the name of COVID-19. No, not levy.
You have to check
the checking and all those.
They don't do any checks.
They do some tests, COVID-19 tests. That test, I went to UK, and just as I got there, they posted the kit to me. I did my own test, and then I emailed
the results.
Emailed, and then they cleared me. I paid $50 in Ghana when I entered the airport, and then Nigeria took the money away. I still pay COVID levy today. Ghana had received a lot of
COVID levy is normal. I mean,
what is normal?
In UK, there is a COVID levy.
What are you talking about? I'm saying that I have paid money to Nigeria and is taking the money away. My country is underdeveloped.
It's a COVID levy.
But an individual had taken all the... Then, you see, I paid as a national, I paid $50. Foreigners were paying $150.
Allow him to.
At least during the period that they opened that COVID, I traveled about 4 times.
So that's
I paid
$200
just to a foreigner. Foreigners who were coming were paying $150. I still pay COVID levy. They said small rice, cooked rice, to a few party people.
Was it party people?
I live in Temais. I saw
the hot meals. I remember they said hot meals.
You understand? Today, we have taken a lot of...
like 50 million cedis on
We've benefited from COVID in terms of finances, financial flow that had come to the country. And so, when people are complaining about devastating effect of COVID, we should be accounting for the flows that have come. They claim to give us free water, then quickly they turn around to take it back, and they were even taking more. Free electricity, we've paid more for it. So you see, don't go into those stray areas. We are talking about the effects of terrorism, and we need first to ask. African Union has a standing force. African Union is supposed to provide its member countries with some level of stability, support its member countries to be able to deal with matters that are cross-border. Terrorism do not exist in one country. They are cross-border activities. So they may be in Nigeria, the next time they may be in Chad. We were here when they went to Cote d'Ivoire to attack the Ivorians. You remember, in Abidjan, there was some COVID terrorist attack there. The happenings in the northern part of our country, even with the Koku conflict, gives opportunities for people who are armed when they become idle to now use the arm for other purposes. And one of the many reasons you have this influx of terrorism activity was as a result of the war in Libya, when individuals were armed to overthrow Gaddafi. After the overthrow of Gaddafi, they had nothing else to do with their arms. They still fight among themselves. And so when arms go freely into the hands of people, and they have no use for those ammunitions that they have, and they have learned to kill, and they have become thirsty for blood, then they will go out there to cause mayhem, kidnap people, rape girls, and do all sorts of things to people. We are in this country when the custom people only recently apprehended some container with arms in them, pistols and other ammunitions. Why do we allow these things to happen? Because if we allow our ports to be used for importation of arms that had not been sanctioned by the state, it means that we will not be able to track the movement of those ammunitions. If they get into the hands of wrong people, if they are not terrorists, they will be armed robbers, highway robbers. And we saw that our members of parliament even got killed by highway robbers. People are attacked every day by highway. So you see, as a country, we first need to protect our borders. We need to know exactly who has registered ammunition. We need to even know the local people who are producing arms, and we need to properly license them and regulate what they do, and know which people are buying their arms and for what purpose. So we have a lot to do. We have the the small arms secretariat or something that is responsible to regulate all these small arms that are in the system. If you ask today, what data do we have in terms of arms that had come into this country and who owns them? We do not know. So it's not like we are free from it. Was it not in this country that we had a Ghanaian, Alema, who decided that he was going to join ISIS and left the country to go and join ISIS? And I think there was another Ghanaian who left from UK to go and join ISIS.
There was one too from KMUST.
Yeah. You see, so when people become indoctrinated, we were fortunate they left the country. What if the indoctrination was such that they decided to do it here? walk into some pub and decide to just kill people in the pub because they have easy access to arms and nobody's regulating how they are getting the arms. So we as a country need, so when Chad says they are fighting alone, it's not just because they said within our country we've been able to clean the system.
Yeah.
But the people are flowing from Nigeria and other neighboring countries into our country.
Yeah.
So it means that if every country decide to take the bull by the horns and fight the situation internally, Chad is not saying Nigerians should come to Nigeria and fight the terrorists for them. Say, clean your country, fight them in your country. Do not allow them have that easy access to arms. Do not allow them have that easy space to maneuver. So they move from your country and launch. So they basically launch their attack from your country and get into our country. We have Mali and Burkina Faso having issues with persons who are supposed to be terrorists, and if they are no longer surviving in those countries, it becomes an easy conflict area for them to now begin, because if people are already in conflict, and as a country, we are not able to deal with the conflict situation, conflict that involve the use of arms, and we are not able to control it. Anybody who has arms and could enter into those territory and say, well, we have arms, you have nothing to do with it. Since you have decided to kill yourself, let's support you with it. At the end of the day, when those conflicts are no longer viable, the people who have the arms will look for other victims. And that is where the terrorism issue will spread up. So, yes, we need to fight it collectively. But in doing so, we need to have that state responsibility as a country to begin to deal with our internal security and dealing with it very well. Making sure that we know exactly what is happening. We need to have proper data on all the arms that are in the system and who has them and who is using them for what. We need to do mop-up and pick arms that are loose in the system and probably know how to deal with it. If we don't do these things, I'm sorry, but Chad will always stand alone, and our countries will be base where we'll train and develop terrorists who will move into other countries and cause mayhem. And when they cannot do it anymore, they will turn the guns against us.
Right. Thank you very much. You two can share your thoughts with us. 05599198802, 05599198802. That is the number to which you can send in your message. Let's proceed to our next topic, and I'm going straight to Hamza Sohini on this one. Why has the? And I think it started with the chairman of the National Democratic Congress. Johnson Asiedu Nketia, he has come out to, I would say perhaps admonish or advise the speaker not. He
has come out to order.
Did he order?
Yeah, he ordered.
No,
so let's see whether
that is your word. Order is your word. But I'm saying that he's come out to admonish. No, how why does the speaker work under the whims and caprices of the National Democratic Congress? Well, right. But why is the NDC advising? Yes, that's the best word to use. Why are they advising the speaker not to recall Parliament, especially when the leader of government business, Honorable Apenyo Markin, has come out to tell us that there's a lot to do. There's a lot on the table. There are bills that ought to be passed. A lot. There are so many things that ought to be done within the short period before we go to the polls. And so, he has to. But the NDC is having none of that. Why? Do you have any personal vendetta against the, in quotes, majority in Parliament?
Which majority?
I knew that question was going to arise.
So, first of all, Blaise, you see, it is important to state that our national chairman is also a member of the Parliamentary Service Board. And so, if you deal with his utterances just as the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, and juxtapose that against his recent call, you are likely to miss the overall picture.
Right.
Because apart from being the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, he's also a member of the Parliamentary Service Board of Parliament,
right,
which is more or less a governing board of that institution. So anytime Parliament is recalled, they all have roles to play. And anytime the time of Parliament is wasted, it affects each and every one of them. So he's a major stakeholder as far as parliamentary work is concerned, despite the fact that he's also the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress. So it is within his rights to exercise an opinion in terms of how the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagun, decides to exercise his discretion to recall Parliament or not. Mind you, what he said had nothing to do, or was not an order, properly so called. According to him, based on what has happened in the past and what is likely to happen, it is only proper that the Speaker refrains from exercising a discretion to recall. We're all in this country. When the same Afenyo Markins filed a petition signed by many of his colleagues, more or less impressing upon the Speaker to recall Parliament, the Speaker honored that by exercising his discretion to actually recall Parliament. When the Speaker recalled Parliament, it was on national television. We all saw what happened. All the NPP MPs represented that day. They stopped their various campaigns in their various constituencies, and they were in Parliament on the said day.
NDC MPs.
NDC MPs. Yeah. But unfortunately, the NPP MPs were not able to even assemble more than 30 MPs to Parliament on the said date. And you remember again that even though they petitioned Parliament, the Speaker for Parliament to be recalled, they failed to come into the chamber on the said day. And that was what led to the eventual adjournment of Parliament by the Speaker on the said date. Because you had indicated to the Speaker that there were businesses you needed to do. And so you petitioned him. He exercised his discretion. He reasoned with you and decided to recall Parliament. When he came and sat in, you were nowhere to be found. And so the business of Parliament couldn't continue. How is that the Speaker's fault? So what the NDC is simply saying today is that, look, we have less than 11 days to elections.
10 actually.
In fact, less than 10 days to elections. If you take out the weekends, we have less than 10 days to elections. And so we are all in our constituencies campaigning. And just as you have the right to recall Parliament, we also have the right to petition the Speaker, to inform the Speaker that, look, considering the nature of our job now, and where we are, it is practically impossible for us to appear before you as far as Parliament is concerned.
But is it not the case that when we go on that tangent, we also miss the point Afenyo Markin makes about urgent parliamentary
but the
business?
Question, you see, that means you were not following my discussion.
I understand.
I told you that,
but
government is the same excuse.
Yes,
Please,
but government's business is not only NPP business.
No, but
it is Ghana's business.
It doesn't matter. But the point I'm making is that this was the same Afenyo Markin who petitioned the Speaker and indicated with the same words that urgent government business.
Yeah.
When the NDC MPs attended and the Speaker went, they were nowhere to be found. I'm simply telling you that we will not allow the likes of Afenyo Markin to continue to abuse our rules and regulations as far as parliamentary work is concerned. You get the point? So we are not going to allow that, because there are so many other things that we are also engaged in. What they are doing in their various constituencies is also a constitutional responsibility. You think that it is simply appearing in Parliament and having debates about national policy, that is the only time that you are living to the dictates of the 1992 Constitution? Absolutely not. In fact, what they are engaged in today is one of the founding blocks of our democracy and our constitutional democracy. Electioneering and campaigns to be represented, for people to be represented in Parliament. So if the Speaker says today that I have the discretion, and the NDC is simply calling on the Speaker not to exercise that discretion to recall Parliament, the NDC is doing so in accordance with the rules of the game as far as parliamentary work is concerned. And I believe to a very large extent that they are also exercising their right to be heard, which is fundamental as far as our constitution is concerned. But the speaker is the ultimate person to take the decision whether to recall parliament or not. And we are saying that this time round, in exercising that discretion, speaker must be guided by the earlier conduct of Afenyo Markin and the NPP MPs, and exercise a discretion not to recall, because in any case we do not have the time. Look, it is actually even in the interest of the country for us not to recall now, because the guys are on their various constituencies campaigning. When you recall them now, this is the dangerous time to recall parliament, because that is where we rush through many questionable transactions and deals, because our parliamentary candidates will not have the time to actually do due diligence as far as some of these policies are concerned, and budgetary expenditure. So let no one make the mistake of thinking that the NDC wants to sabotage government. It is government and the likes of Afenyo Markin, they have decided to sabotage themselves, because we were willing and ready to participate. And the issues that they are afraid of today, if the speaker decides to recall parliament, if the NDC walks into parliament, I can assure you that the NDC MPs will go and occupy the majority side of the House until the decision of the Supreme Court is communicated to them by the speaker. Are you following me? The NDC MPs will still go and occupy the majority side. So if that is done, will Afenyo Markin and his group avoid parliament again like they did in the last time? So these are some of the issues. We have reached a stage where there's a stalemate as far as the organizational structure of parliament is concerned. Indeed, the leadership structure of parliament is concerned. And they must find ways of resolving it, rather than this knee-jerk attempts to recall parliament at all costs. We are ready, but we are simply telling you that this is not the right time, and by boycotting or telling the speaker not to exercise that discretion to recall, we are simply letting the speaker know that we are exercising another constitutional responsibility by not allowing these guys to rush through questionable transactions at a time that many of our MPs may not be in the right frame of mind to carefully scrutinize. And bless, you should even be more worried, because we are dealing with a bunch of crooks who have shown that any time they bundle anything as national interest, beyond that is their personal and selfish interest. We saw their conduct in the PDS saga. We saw the conduct to enrich themselves, even when they implemented the banking sector cleanup, and the amount of money, over 25 billion spent to resolve a 5 billion problem. We saw that appetite to more or less take out our resources for personal gains. And so whatever we are doing, it is also part of a holistic strategy of the National Democratic Congress to prevent the NPP from doing what they know best, by doing everything possible within their power to take away our limited resources on their way out of government. We are not going to allow that, and we will not be part of any process that will give them legitimacy to do so. But if they are adamant and defiant and they proceed to engage in financial transactions, then they must be rest assured to face the full rigors of the law when the NDC eventually assumes the reins of governance come 7th December 2025. 7th January 2025. But you see, bless, whatever they do, the National Democratic Congress will not be part of a process to recall parliament. Simple and short.
Right. So the member of parliament for the Efutu constituency says, call me majority leader. call me majority leader. When he was when he interrupted the journalist. But I'm coming to you, Rishtaniama Matthew. The majority leader gives, reasons for which parliament should be recalled, some of which I have named. But let me go through some of the bills that have to be looked at. Among the bills pending consideration are the Environmental Protection Agency Bill 2024, the Free Secondary Education Bill 2024, University of Mampong Bill, and the Ghana Boundary Commission Bill. There are a host of them. But however, the NDC's argument is that, look, Afenyomakin only wants a recall because, I mean, they want to give some tax waivers to some businesses that when you decide to go into these businesses proper, you'd realize that they are owned by people who sympathize with the New Patriotic Party. I mean, some of these allegations have been made against the rationale or the reasoning behind the call or the recall of Parliament. Do you share similar sentiments?
Let's tell me, which of the bills that you read is so urgent that it cannot wait until after the elections? EPA operates currently with a law. If the law has shortcomings, it can wait until the elections are done or even into the next Parliament. Free SHS bill. So, does that mean that the free SHS is running without a policy or a law as we talk now? None of the laws you mentioned are so urgent that requires that within these 10 days, because like Hamza said, no MP currently is in the right frame of mind to go and sit in Parliament and do parliamentary business. 10 days, 9 days to elections. No. Everybody is busy out there mopping up. Today, as we talk, Electoral Commission is transferring, moving election equipment and materials to the district police armory. The PCs need to be sure that everything that is being sent has proper records. They need to be there or get their representative to be there. They need to be briefed. They need to strategize because we'll soon have the elections, the special voters done, and you expect members of Parliament to leave their election campaign, which will return them to Parliament, and come and sit in Parliament and look at free SHS bill and look at EPA bill. No, let's be fair. We are not dealing with. We don't have an emergency here. For which reason you need that urgency of Parliament to sit and then deal with those very urgent matters. Because the bills you mentioned, for me, are bills that can wait until after elections. Secondly, why are we here? We are here because probably Parliament had not been treated fairly. You see, we recently commissioned the Bank of Ghana building, which is supposed to be the tallest building in Ghana. We spent over $250 million to build that. Parliament wanted a new chamber. What did we do as Ghanaians? All of us. We did not allow Parliament to build a chamber for itself. But Bank of Ghana had built a $250 million facility to house its staff. No, you see, what I'm saying is that, no, we are deliberate.
Structural integrity.
No, but Parliament has the same reasons why they feel that the chamber is small. They always need to refit the chamber. Because you see, we have 275 members of Parliament. The next Parliament will have 276 members of Parliament because we're going to have Sal coming to Parliament. So there will be an additional member of Parliament who will require an office staff. You will require a desk in Parliament. So you need to refit Parliament. And so if Parliament, what I'm saying is that we are deliberately making Parliament weak. Look, if the member of Parliament for Temais is my cousin, and I know what he goes through, assuming a member of Parliament is coming even from Koforidua every day and has to drive to the constituency every weekend, if we decide that members of Parliament who have come to Parliament should take loan to buy utility vehicles so they are able to go back to their constituency, Ghanaians would rise every 4 years. They buy it every 4 years and complain. Why are you giving them loans to buy vehicles? Meanwhile, you go to a ministry and a minister will have probably 2 utility vehicles, will have project vehicles, we have saloon cars, all parked at his or her disposal, and will use them for the period that he or she is a minister, and may change them even during the course of his ministerial duty. Nobody checks on what happens with the executive. Very little attention is given to the court because that is a no-go area. When you talk, you will be cited for contempt. So people. But when it comes to the issue of parliamentary work, we allow everybody to interfere. Speaker was transmitting a bill that had been passed from Parliament to the presidency, and till today, the bill is in limbo because the executive will not receive the bill, and Ghanaians are quiet. We wouldn't get to where we are if we had given Parliament the respect that is due Parliament. That is what I feel. So the courts may decide on how Parliament should run. And you see, when that happens, everybody will want to protect his or her turf. So if I am number 3 and number 4 is telling me what I should do, then I'll try and protect my turf and show that I'm number 3, even though number 4, I've been clothed with some authority to make some intervention in matters that relate to all the other arms of government. So I feel that going forward, we as Ghanaians need to support Parliament to function the way it should function, and to give recognition to the members of Parliament the way we should give to them. When we have issues, almost everybody runs to the member of Parliament. I see that. It's not like somebody, I see people come to the member of Parliament, people lining up in the member of Parliament's office. And when it comes to that, it's not about NDC or MPP. It is people from all walks of life who would want to identify with the member of Parliament and get the needed support. So what I'm trying to say is that we have deliberately made Parliament weak. And Parliament is losing the authority to play that oversight role. And one of the reasons we are where we are is also because we have been excessively partisan in Parliament. Because we have used a whip system to the extent that people are losing their independence in Parliament, because you go to Parliament representing a constituency, yes, on a ticket of a political party, but you have a right to be different based on the very special circumstances under which you are representing your people. But everybody is forced to be whipped along a certain line, such that even if the caucus, be it majority or minority, is not very right, you are forced to agree and go by it. And that is why we are where we are. Because if so if the MPP by themselves had said that if you leave my party and go independent, you cease to be a member, automatically cease to be a member of my political party. Yet go round to court and say, well, even though my constitution says this, I still say that I'm maintaining my people and they have to be. You see, we need to be fair to the system. And from where I sit, if the NDC believe that, look, we cannot waste our time in Parliament to deal with matters that are not vexed, that are not very urgent, and that could be dealt with probably after elections, because Parliament doesn't cease immediately after election. Parliament would cease after December 6th.
No, January 6th.
Sorry, after January 6th.
Midnight of
January 6th.
Yeah.
So we still have about a month to go after the elections. So let's go into the elections. Let the MPs feel free. Let them campaign. Because I know the amount of work that is going into campaigning. I know how difficult campaigning is and how stressful it is. Members of Parliament are sleeping after 2 a.m. and you expect them to be meeting people by 5:36, and then you want them to go to Parliament around this time. And when you bring any bill before them, how are they even able to read and comprehend with all these stress and electoral issues coming up, looking for money everywhere, to be able to execute their campaign. I don't think this is the time to recall Parliament, especially when these matters are not matters that I see to be urgent. From where I see, in my opinion, they are not very urgent.
Thank you very much, Rich Tani Amamafio. Now I'm coming to Saka Salia. Saka. I mean, Hamza makes the point that you guys had a chance. You actually recalled Parliament, only to concern yourself with where you sit. Did that really matter? Would it have any bearing? I mean, with regards to where you sit, would that have had any bearing on whether a bill would be passed or admitted into Parliament in the first place? But you consented yourself with that. That was your priority. And now that you have dealt with that and that is out of the way, you want, at your own time, he suggested 28th and 29th, which is tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday, as the days that the Speaker should recall Parliament so that Parliament sits and then pass these bills. Why should things be done at the whims and caprices of the majority leader?
Yeah, bless, thank you very much.
I expected that.
Bless, thank you. Thank you very much. I am tinged with surprise. Some of the things I'm hearing here. I mean, Hamza, a lawyer, telling us that the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, it's only the Speaker that will just inform them before they take action. When this, the legal department of Parliament is there, they can inform Parliament about what has happened. And apart from that, he has also forgotten that the Speaker even informed Parliament, even before the ruling, that there should be a stay. Let's even grant it that the Supreme Court did not even rule. We are even talking about the stay, even the stay alone should not let him come and sit here and say that they are the majority. Stay of execution alone tells you that even the Speaker ruling was not recognized by the Supreme Court. So what is it? Anytime you mention Afanyo Makera, majority leader, then he's in reach. Why should you mention him as a majority leader? I mean, the facts are clear. You don't need to, you see. I will, pardon?
What makes him the majority?
Oh, I've just explained to you.
Have they enforced any court decision?
I just explained to you. Listen.
So
I have explained to you. But if nobody enforces anything, why are they asking to be the majority?
Which people are asking to be the majority?
The NDC.
NDC is not asking to be the majority. NDC proclaims itself as the majority.
That's lawlessness. Why would you proclaim yourself?
It's not.
See, that's lawless. That's completely.
It's not.
You see, like the jungle.
Who proclaims one party in Parliament majority and minority?
That's a brilliant question.
Who declares? Or
who declares? Who declares one? The
will of the people.
Okay.
Is it not
Listen. You don't proclaim yourself as the majority.
So how was majority?
That's mundane to just say.
How was it proclaimed?
The majority?
Fenyo Makin, how was it proclaimed as majority?
Majority, by due to the fact that we are majority, they are majority.
The NPP is not the majority in Parliament. So
I am saying the NPP group is the majority.
NPP group is not the majority in Parliament.
So when you do head count,
you see, no,
your group is more than
Hamza. You see,
equal.
Hamza.
You have
even do not.
This is what Afenyo Makin consented himself with.
No, listen.
This was Afenyo Makin's priority, and we are where we are today.
Listen.
This was his priority, and we are here today. And now he's begging the Speaker to recall.
I'm saying,
constituted the
let him proceed. Let him proceed.
It means the group the MPP belongs to, they are the majority. The NDC group is a minority. So why are you here saying that? I shouldn't say that. If you do head count, you are the minority. Why?
Who people are the majority?
Why?
You don't have 3 members of parliament in parliament based on the decision of the speaker.
And then the Supreme Court says that there should be
the
execution of that.
People were on this.
Saka, make your point.
Because I mean,
no consequences.
Make your.
I mean, this thing, ordinary, average person should understand what I'm talking about.
No.
But you see, but because of politics, that's the reason why in most cases, you see, if you go to the court, you remember the NDC has been shouting everywhere. The Supreme Court don't like us. The Supreme Court, they are not diligent when it comes to court matters.
That's a deception.
Even when they were in power, I'm telling you, any good lawyer, when you find yourself in the NDC, you become bad lawyer. Do you know there is not that they become bad lawyer in the sense of losing their knowledge in the law, but because they told their Sidi Nkatiers and co-line.
No, because we respect principles. We don't
listen. We don't listen. That's the reason why
we don't attempt
a respected lawyer like
Chatu
Chiketa, everybody respect in this country, can just go to the Supreme Court and without any serious evidence and lose the case in such a disgraceful manner. Yeah. Saka. And you see, and lawyer, up and coming lawyer, eschew that. It will not help you if you want to toe that party line of
how many cases did Nanado lose? So he was
Saka. How many cases? Tell me the cases that
you were willing to say he never lost a case. Tell me
how many cases. How many cases has he ever lost? He's one of the foremost lawyers in this country.
Right.
I'm not saying
Saka, make your point. Make your point. I asked the question
I'm saying that the matters are clear. That the Supreme Court did the stay of execution. They went ahead to even, pronounce on the matter, and then the Speaker came to Parliament and even informed them about the decision of the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court stayed the execution. And then my brother is saying he didn't hear that. He didn't hear that the Speaker announced. So today, if they go to even Parliament, they will go and sit in the majority side. It is. I'm scandalized. Another thing that I'm hearing. I mean, because of Parliament has not been treated well, they wanted to build their parliamentary, their house of Parliament, and I mean, look. Let's not even go there. Those are not the reason we are here. Look, every bill is so important. To say that environment bill is not important, it's not agent. When we all know the importance of environment. No. Yeah, because if it's not important, it won't be even agent.
No.
I'm telling you, Saka. Tell them to keep quiet, not me.
No, Saka.
Tell them to keep quiet. Why are you mentioning me? Am I not the one?
No,
please.
I'm not the one talking.
I'll do that.
I'm not the one talking.
That's not what allow you.
So tell them to keep quiet.
No, tell them.
You see, bless you. You are not being fair to Richard because he is attempting to.
When Richard was talking,
I will do that. I would.
When he was talking, I kept quiet.
Proceed.
I kept quiet.
Proceed.
Because some of the things.
Proceed.
This is some of the things I don't even know how to describe them. Look, the free SHS bill is as important as any other bill. An agent and an agent one as such. Listen.
Why is it agent?
Very agent. But look, we are going to elections. The term of the president is almost ended. The term of parliament, the parliament of this house is almost the life of the parliament. There has been reports. There have been reports on the free HS and all that. The president, having getting to his term, would want to ensure that the free HSS become what he dreamed of. That every school-going child must have education. And the fact that there are some political parties who are lurking around the bend to claim to the presidency are all over the place. The president needs to stand. Listen, let me finish. I mean, when somebody is talking, let the person land at least, so that there are other political parties. I mean, John Mahama and Co, who we all know do not subscribe to the free SHS policy. The president wants it to be a law that whoever wins the election, you cannot come and change the free SHS or cancel it. And because of that, we want to ensure that this particular bill see the light of day. The NBC all over the place because they are afraid that if we stamp that authority, and in the unlikely event they come to power, it will be very difficult.
Confirms that your mama will.
No, I'm saying you're not even listening. No. Oh, listen.
That's why it's not agent.
But listen.
If the man is winning, it's not agent.
But listen. You see, you're just laughing without listening.
Proceed.
Yeah, I said. No. See, listen. Can't you listen?
Let him proceed.
I think my English is clear. I said that on the unlikely events that John Mahama wins the election.
They know that.
No, listen. I mean, we are not God.
So
we cannot say that. The fact of the matter is that we are not God. If it's the will of the people that John Mahama wins, no problem. If it's the will of God that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wins, no problem. So we cannot say that Chichina. No, but listen. No, I mean,
proceed.
Listen,
Please, I beg you.
Listen.
I beg you. Let's sack up.
Sometimes when you think positive, you should think negative too. At least, I mean, the NDC has come to power in the past and all that. John Mahama himself has been a president. So we cannot say that it is not possible that they can become.
It is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying. See, this is the reason why. You see, no, listen to me.
Let him proceed.
See, this is the reason why sometimes when we come here, we are partisans. Yeah, you see, sometimes, you see, when you want to tell the truth, look at what they are doing.
It's not sometimes. Always you have been partisan.
Because I have to be partisan.
Proceed.
In order for them not to, you see that they are laughing. The two of them clapping hands like they are. So I'm saying that on the unlikely event that the haters of free SHS come to power, they will not be able to change the free SHS. Ghanaians love it. People are unable to go to school using their own packets. They rely on this. And therefore, the MPP government that have Ghanaians at heart is saying that we want this thing urgently. Parliament should to stamp authority on it. And then the changes that come with the educational reforms and all those things are part of this bill that we are talking about. And then you sit here and say that it is not important. And because people are campaigning,
it's not urgent.
It's not important.
It's not urgent.
And then you say it's not urgent.
Yes.
And I'm telling you the agency of it.
You see, sir,
and then, you're right.
I'll engage him.
Right.
I'll engage him.
Right.
What makes it urgent?
And then people are sitting here and telling us that, people are campaigning, let them go and campaign.
So it's
urgent. The state president over their parliamentary work. The mandate.
Accounting to the people.
No, that is not accounting to the people. Looking
when you go to the people,
it's not even all of them that are being.
Saka. What is it?
Oh, is it Saka? Let me tell you something.
Saka. So the free SHS bill is urgent because some other party other than the NPP may win the next election.
It's possible.
So that's what makes it urgent.
And it's urgent and it's to ensure that we do not allow them to come and then cancel it.
But you know the kind of no. Also, isn't the free SHS
so the NDC will come
already in the constitution
and cancel it? So the NDC will come and amend the law and cancel the free SHS.
The law is not.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
So keep quiet and let me talk.
Because if the flame cannot get
I'm saying that you are saying that even if we pass the law, the NDC will still come.
If the law is not a good law,
then me, I won't allow anybody to talk to you. Because I'm not even allowed. You see, Massa.
There's the need for us to review the free senior high school.
But the free senior high school
and in that stakeholder engagement, probably then even as far back as 2018-2019, the discussions would have informed you that there was a need for you to have a bill before Parliament to make it a legal document to guide the operation of the
successive governments. Right. It's okay. Let
please, if there's anything to be done about the free senior high school, be patient. Let John Drama
Hamza,
I talk about the possibility of the mama coming. You and I know very well that Ghanaians will never give their mandate back.
So why are you rushing?
No, but listen.
So wait.
Because of the things that he did in the past.
So wait after the elections.
I mean, this is a former president that has plunged all of us into doomsday for 4 years.
When some pastors
listen. It doesn't matter. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Pastors were praying.
You're just watching me without telling them to keep quiet.
Because you just lied.
You're just watching me.
you're watching me. You are getting the dose of your own medicine. That's why I'm watching you. What you do to people is being done to you. I intentionally decided to let you have the final fight.
Then let me do my own things. Yeah, they should. So I will not spoil the program.
Proceed. Respectfully, restart.
Listen. At the time that pastors prayed, nobody said that pastor didn't pray, but the energy mix was mainly about 80% of the energy mix was hydro. And then listen.
No. He's giving us justification for the prayer. Let us listen.
I'm shocked you are doing this. If it's an energy matter, let's talk about it. Let me tell you. The energy mix was 80% hydro. And then hydro depends on water, rainfall. Go to other areas. Go to Japan and other places.
They
pray for rain to come. Even in Islam, we can pray for rain to come. I'm telling you. And then that was the reason why under J. Kufuor, 7 months we were prone to doom so.
Because there was no rain.
The 7 months, you see, when the prayer was done, it is not like J. Kufuor only prayed and went away. He brought the mines reserve plant, which gives out about 80 megawatts of electricity. That is that is not the mine reserve plant. Not the strategic reserve plant is the Rokubrebe one, which gives out about 125 megawatts of electricity. The strategic reserve plant, when the NDC in the midst of the doomsday, they took those strategic reserve plant and sent them to Sierra Leone. No, but if it's toy, and then you think that the Sierra Leoneans like the toys, but you don't like.
So we got
how if a toy can give you 125 megawatts of electricity, no problem. You see, apart from that, I mean, go to the Bui power. It is not a prayer of Ada Akosombo that gave us the Bui power. J. Kufuor didn't pray and sat down. He gave us the Bui power. And there are so many the Osino plant. No, listen, the Osino plant was brought by the J. Kufuor. The Osino plant more than all what's listen, you are lying. I'll tell you. In excess of you are lying.
Saka, 2 minutes and you land.
I'll tell you.
Saka, 2 minutes.
See, when they made that joke, when they made that joke that they went to pray and all those things, as if Kufuor didn't do anything, it was only about prayers. Even the Akosombo itself. He went and retrofitted it and increased the megawatts. So don't come and the NDC and their cronies have been saying some of these things. Unfortunately on their part, most of the time when they say those things, people who know the energy sector are not there to checkmate them. But you talk about that he brought Mary and all those things. You said that Mary was what? An agent power plant.
Saka.
And then you brought it last minute.
Saka.
Okay, let's go.
Saka,
We are talking about Parliament.
why didn't you see the urgency of these bills a few days ago and you decide, I mean, you consented yourself with where you sit instead, I mean, so you placed premium on whether you sit on the left or the right side of the speaker ahead of these bills that you are saying are so very important, and so we should recall. How is this simplistic?
You see, sometimes the annoyance move into anger. I mean, it's so irritating, annoying, and even it moves into anger. For people to say that, oh, it is about the sitting place and those things. No. The sitting place is not a problem. Because the moment they ask you to sit at the left-hand side, it means that you lose 3 MPs. It means that you are a minority and you have accepted that 3 MPs should go home. That's the meaning. And then when Afenyoman can recall Parliament, actually, I Speaker to recall Parliament, when we realized that the NDC had gone to sit at the right-hand side, signifying that they are the majority. And then the minority cannot go into Parliament and go and sit there. Even that one would have been in contempt of court, because court says that state execution, then you go and aid the NDC to violate the law. That's the reason why Afenyoman called Parliament but did not attend. It is clear that they did not want to break the law. But the last thing that I will talk about has to do with the fact that it was not an order. I said admonition or whatever that you want to talk. It was not an order. He's a member of Parliamentary Service Board. Let me tell you, the NDC, they think that they can sit in their headquarters and direct what happens in Parliament. The parliamentary leadership, their leadership, within Parliament, they'll go and sit in a chop bar or beer bar and choose whoever will lead them and all those things. I said you can check and sit. And even Sami Jemfi had ever issued a statement directing Bagbin what to do. Directing Bagbin what to do. We have seen all those statements. And castigating Parliament and all that and telling them what to do. So I look, if today Parliament do not obey Asiedu Nketiah's word, I will be surprised. If Bagbin does not obey Asiedu Nketiah's words, I will be surprised. So if you want to show to Ghanaians that he is a man of his own and that he can look at in the face of Asiedu Nketiah and call his bluff, he should not call Parliament, so that we know that Parliament is not being controlled by the NDC in their headquarters. I'm telling you, these people, they want to take Parliament as if it is one of their branches, just because Bagbin is the Speaker. Parliament doesn't belong to Bagbin. Parliament is not Bagbin's private shop that he can lock and go and sit down in the house. There are so many ways of recalling Parliament. If all these things are done, and he still is adamant, because the Supreme Court ruled, if anything, you need to come to Parliament and then, undone what you have done. But if it's undo what you have done, but if you think that you sit and then campaigning in our villages for vote is more important than parliamentary work, I beg to differ.
But I mean, I'm tempted to agree with Hamza Aswalti, because when Parliament was recalled, how many of your MPs showed up?
I explained to you the reason why they didn't show up.
Why didn't they show up?
Didn't you hear?
It's not as if
all of them were in the meeting. They were in the caucus meeting. All of them. So look at you. I am telling you, all of them were there.
In fact, they were not even up to 10.
All of them were in the caucus meeting, but because the NDC had gone to sit at where they would have sat, so they cannot go and sit at a wrong place and signify that Cynthia Morrison and co, they have accepted that they are not no, and they cannot go and stand in Parliament. And
thank you very much, Saka Salia. Good morning, Bless. The recall of Parliament by Alomassor should not be listened to by the Speaker because you cannot strip someone naked before the public and later take the person indoors to clothe him. The current bills before Parliament are avenues to create loot and share amongst themselves. The leader of the MPP caucus should come to a realization that the elderly who defecates on the road would step on excreta on his way back. Speaker Bagbin should not agree with any attempt by the leader of the MPP MPs to belittle the parliamentary dignity and relegate it to the background. Anybody who fails to live up to expectation yesterday and promise to deliver his honors tomorrow should not be trusted. From Abdullah Baba in Kumbungu. Thank you, Abdullah, for your message. Al-Hassan says, good morning, Al-Hassan Savlugu. For the first time, Saka has been honest to say it is possible John Mahama will win. He is my hero for today. All right. Good morning, Blessed. I want to know. Good morning, Blessed. I want to know if the MPP communications team member there is saying the free SHS bill is more important than the bill of LGBTQ plus before the president, especially when I'm not done with the message. Especially when the free senior high school bill is already in the constitution. Isaac from Gefia asks, it is true. I've read it. Good morning, Bless and the panel seated. Please, the Constitution is fundamental law of the land. The legislature, judiciary, and the executive are separated, but Constitution is master to all the organs of government. Parliament has its standing orders. From Mohammed Amin in Pru East. Thank you, Mohammed. This one here also says that Bless, good morning. Saka should know that free SHS was introduced in 1963 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. It's not MPP that they are making noise. Saka should protect his credibility and stop making noise. Bless, please help us. Let the MPP man know that, in other words, they take responsibility, not prayer. Africa, these are part of our problems. What we need to do, we don't do. We only wait for God to come and do it for us. Suglo says, good morning, Bless. So you allow Saka to sit in the studio and still peddle arrogance? Even his minority leader, Alomassor, in his letter to the speaker, has eaten a humble pie, now begging the speaker like a child that needs breast milk. Why won't he go to court to reconvene Parliament? Time will tell. My regards to lawyer Suini. Ghana needs reset now or never. Thank you, Suglo. Kai Debi.
There's something that's... No, but it's really just a quick one. I think there's a developing story, and these are some of the things that we should be concerned about as a republic. We are just receiving information to the effect that armed men have actually gone to the premises of Metro TV.
Oh.
Yes, trying to have access whilst the Good Morning Ghana was ongoing, largely because of activities that they are not happy about. You see, this is the kind of canker. Metro TV. See, this is the kind of canker that we are
can you let us get the facts? Are they going to arrest us?
Only God knows what, but please, you are not there. You don't have the right to arrest. It is a Ghana process.
Well, once I agree with Sakon.
Yes.
Let's first get the facts, because
I'm just telling you that
I don't
coming up. Bless, please.
Well, Suini, I understand.
So I'm telling you that you can follow it up.
Of course. Yesterday, yesterday, for instance, policemen were here, about 8 of them.
I'm not talking about policemen.
No, I understand. I'm explaining.
I'm talking about. You are talking about different. So because of my understanding of the I am telling you that armed men have gone to Metro TV trying to interrupt the operations of the station.
Okay.
You as a media man, your job to follow up.
My time is up. Thank you very much, Saka Salia. Thank you, Al-Hassan Suhini. Thank you very much, Ristania Mama Phil. I'll see you tomorrow. You have a pleasant Wednesday. Bye-bye.